Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're talking about something really important, a medical emergency, where literally every single second matters. We're talking about a stroke.
So let's just jump right in. What you're about to hear could honestly, no exaggeration, mean the difference between someone walking away from a stroke or facing a permanent disability. It can even be the difference between life and death. Okay, so the most important thing, and I mean the most important thing you can learn from this, is how to spot a stroke. And luckily, there's a really easy way to remember the signs. It's an acronym, F-A-S-T.
All right, let's break it down. F is for face. You're going to ask the person to give you a big smile. What you're looking for is, does one side of their face droop? Next, A is for arms. Ask them to raise both of their arms up high. Watch to see if one of those arms starts to drift back down. S is for speech. Is their speech slurred? Does it sound strange? A good test is to have them repeat a simple sentence. Something like, the sky is blue. And T, this is the most crucial part. T is for time. If you see even one of these signs, it is time to call 911 right away. No hesitation.
The takeaway here is, don't wait. Don't second-guess yourself. Just act. Oh, and here's another pro tip. Try to remember what time the symptoms first started. That one little detail, it can be absolutely critical for the medical team.
So now you know how to respond on the outside. But what's actually going on inside the brain when a stroke happens? Let's get into it.
A lot of people think strokes are a heart problem, but they're not. They happen in the brain. That's why some people call it a brain attack. And it's basically when the blood supply to part of the brain gets cut off, either because a blood vessel gets blocked or it just bursts.
And this brings us right back to why acting fast is so important. Without that blood and the oxygen it carries, brain cells, they just start to die, and they die quickly. Get this, for every minute a stroke is left untreated, a person can lose almost 2 million brain cells. 2 million! That's just staggering. And you can imagine, losing brain cells at that rate has a huge impact. In the US, stroke is the number 5 cause of death. And beyond that, it's one of the main reasons people end up with a serious long-term disability.
Okay, so not all strokes are created equal. They basically fall into 2 main types, plus a really important warning sign that everyone should know about.
So you've got your ischemic stroke. That's the most common one. Think of it like a plumbing problem, a clog in a pipe. A blood clot blocks an artery in the brain. Then you have the hemorrhagic stroke. This is more like a pipe bursting. A blood vessel actually breaks open and bleeds into the brain, which creates a ton of pressure and causes damage.
And as you can see, those clot-based ischemic strokes, they are by far the most common type, making up about 87% of all strokes.
Now, what about that warning sign I mentioned? It's called a TIA, or a transient ischemic attack. You might have heard it called a mini-stroke. With a TIA, the blockage is temporary, so the FAST symptoms might show up and then go away. But please, listen to me on this. A TIA is a huge, flashing red light. It's a major warning that a full-blown stroke could be right around the corner. It's a medical emergency, period.
All right, I know this all sounds pretty scary, but here's the good news, and it's really good news. The vast majority of strokes, they're preventable.
I'm not just making this up. The American Heart Association says that a whopping 80% of strokes can be prevented. 80%! That's a massive number. It means so much of this is actually within our control.
So the big question is, how? Well, it really boils down to managing some key risk factors. And a lot of these have to do with our lifestyle. The number one culprit, the biggest risk factor of them all, is high blood pressure. Think about it. If your blood pressure is always high, it's constantly hammering away at the walls of your arteries, making them weaker and way more likely to cause a problem.
So again, this is where you have the power. Taking real, concrete steps like eating better, moving your body more, and ditching the cigarettes, these aren't just small things. They can radically lower your risk of having a stroke. It's all connected.
And finally, I want to talk about hope. For anyone who has had a stroke or has a loved one who's gone through it, it's so important to know that recovery is real. It is absolutely possible.
Now, everyone's journey is going to be different, for sure. But the goal of rehabilitation is always the same: to help survivors get back on their feet and regain the skills that the stroke might have affected. We're talking about things like speaking, walking, all those daily activities we take for granted. It's all about helping them live the most independent life possible.
And thanks to modern medicine and amazing rehab teams, the outcomes for stroke survivors are better than ever. I love this quote from the American Stroke Association. "There is life and hope after stroke." And that really says it all. A stroke is, without a doubt, a life-changing event, but for so many people, it doesn't have to be a life-ending one.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? It really comes down to 4 letters. F-A-S-T. Just remembering that simple acronym empowers you. It gives you the tool you need to act fast and potentially save someone's life. You could be a hero just by knowing what to look for.
And that's our explainer on stroke. So, I want to leave you with a question to chew on. Thinking about your own health, what's one small choice you can make, today, right now, to take better care of your brain?